What are the pros and cons of online banking? You're going to be shocked at what I'm going to say. Get a pen and paper, because I'm actually really pro banks. And a lot of you are going, oh my gosh, they're collapsing. I doubt it. So let's begin. 3 things I want to talk about today. I'm going to talk about online banking and the benefits, because there are a lot of benefits of online banking. Number 2, just understanding banks in general. Why are they beneficial? Why do they exist? Why are they probably not all going to collapse? Why a few of them collapsed? They were very clear. They were investment banks more than they were just traditional commercial banks, what we use. Number 3, a little bit about how banks won't be your friend, the cons of it. And then I'm going to spin it. I'm going to tell you why you need to make it a positive if you really want money. And if you're going to create wealth in your life, you're going to want money and a relationship with the bank. So let's begin. So what are the benefits of online banking? Well, obviously it's convenient, right? You don't have to walk in anywhere. You can just, do easy transfers. The problem on a lot of those, you're going to have limitations on the amount you can do per day. Even with Zelle, you can only Zelle $2,500 a day. Cash apps have limits. A lot of them have limits, so you can only move so much money. So where it doesn't work is as you start playing a bigger game. You need to start wiring 50,000, 100,000, $250,000, $500,000. Most online banks won't do that with a lot of ease and grace. You either have to get on the phone, minimum, a Zoom camera. Most of the time, you're going to have to walk in a bank and sign wiring paper and transfer papers. And if you go international, you're going to have to go in as well. So it doesn't solve all problems, but it does make it convenient. Now, I'm in the middle of a launch of a kids bank. So I'm going to give you a link to go get our app for families, and it's for kids, and it has 100 missions and gigs, and it teaches kids money. So it's based a lot on the premise of my Make Your Kids Millionaires, where you don't pay them an allowance. They're actually going to design their income for the month. And then it actually has these very cool pipes. So if they design, say they want to make $1,000 a month, how much goes into their spend, which then attaches to a debit card, how much goes into invest, which attaches to iFlip. So I'm going to give you that link too to go get an iFlip app. So that is a bank and an investment software portal for you to make and invest your money. Then the third pipe is about charity, and you legally, you'll click the charities you want to give some charity to, and it will actually go to them immediately. So it's a very cool, very different. It's not like Greenlight. It's way more sophisticated in its teaching of missions and gigs. It's gamified. Each kid can get their own avatar. Super cool. So I'm going to give you a kids bank and an investment software to get you started. So that is part of the online technologies that I'm not only an investor and owner in, I love them completely. Now, as you get more sophisticated, you're going to get to a little more challenge and a little, I'm not going to say more challenge, you just got to know more. So let me just tell you about banks. So banks have a 10x experience with the central bank. So for every, say I'm going to get you up to 100,000, because if you can't make 100,000, you're suffering. So you need to make 100,000 a year, minimum as an adult. So as you're making that money, and you put 100,000, say, in a bank, online or otherwise, what you've given that bank permission to do is reach up and get 10x. So for every 100,000, you've given them $1 million benefit. So they now can have $1 million in their capacity to now do consumer loans out for cars or small business loans or whatever your local bank is going to set up a loan for. Maybe they do mortgages and home loans or HELOCs. So you're giving them the capacity to have the money. So you aren't just not anybody, you're someone who's contributing to them. So I want you to start looking at your bank as more of a partnership. Now, if you want to do some ease with some online banking, that's cool. And I want you to have a relationship with the bank. So let me tell you my laundromat story. It's my most successful story of being in a relationship with a bank. So it was years and years and years ago. I wanted to buy a laundromat. Why? Because I like businesses that teach kids about money, and that's an easy, fun one that my son loved to do. So every weekend we would go down with these huge bags, and you get all the quarters out of the washing machines and the drying machines, and we would have vending machines, and he would count money. It's a super fun business for kids, and it's very, very easy for them to see money coming and going. It also is pretty relative to why doesn't everybody have a washer and dryer? It's amazing what kids think. Anyway, I went to the bank and I said, listen, I'm putting $1 million. I'll just use $1 million as an example. I'm giving you $1 million a year in deposits, which means you can go get 10 million. That makes you a lot of money. So if you don't understand arbitrage, that's what a bank does. They're going to go get 10 million. They're going to loan it out to you. They're going to get it for free because you gave deposits. Oh yeah, they might have given you a toaster, an iPad for the deposits. Good job. What they're going to do is they're going to loan it out at 5%, 6%, 10%, 11%, depending on your credit. So they're making money because you give them deposits. So if you haven't realized that, you need to be in a better relationship. So as you grow with a bank, I want you to learn about private banking, personal banking. You should have a personal banker. So then you stop paying for fees, for checks, for just a cashier's check. I mean, there's a lot of fees that you're getting dinged on throughout a banking relationship, but when you actually create a relationship, you can waive a lot of those fees or get them down to very minimal amounts. So knowing how banks works help you. So I went in and I said, I'm putting in $1 million, making you 10. I'd like to go buy a laundromat. I need $200,000 and I'd like it at 0%. And of course he laughed and he thought that was funny. And I said, I know you have to go to your committee. So seriously, I want a really, really low interest loan. And he said, well, you already have 200,000, use yours. And I said, I'm using my 200,000 to go to buy real estate and make a whole different amount, like 12, 15, 18%. I want to use your money at a very low interest rate to go buy another asset. That's using other people's money. So I ended up with a 2% loan for $200,000. And once I sold the laundromat 3 years later, I paid them back, paid their 2%, and I'm out. So I pretty much walked in and out of a laundromat. I think I made about $100,000 in that move and used their money completely for 2%. That is why you want a relationship with the bank. So before I move into other pros of the bank and some distinctions about why some of these banks closed, I need you to subscribe to this channel, click the notification button. I want you here 5 days a week, and I need you to share it with a lot of friends. I'm also doing a binge campaign, which means if you binge watch this channel on my channel, 25 hours, I will credit $750 towards any new tuition as you choose to get coached or mentored by anybody in our organization. So just immerse yourself, use playlists, go to the search bar, look for the topics you want, and understand money. What you need to learn about money is you need to stay in one lane. Like listening to me versus listening to, say, Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey, you're going to be schizophrenic. That's like if you went to a weight loss program or you want to be skinny or fat. Like they're going to make you safe, stable, and out of debt. That's not what I do. I want to make you a millionaire and wealthy and use debt properly. So we don't even teach the same just because it says money. It's very, very different philosophies, which is why I want you here. Because I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about money and business in an aligned fashion with an aligned team behind me. Now, what else is going on with the bank? So why are banks collapsing? Well, a lot of banks are just used, like the Silicon Valley Bank, that's used for tech startups, right? So a lot of high net worth people will put money in the banks, and the money's there on drawdown loans for startup companies to use and to build up their tech stacks. So when there was a run on the bank and a little bit of fear, the money got pulled, the bank collapsed. A lot of those startups failed. They had to go back out and get different rounds of funding. So from all of the world economists that I'm hearing from, I mean, a big bank collapse, is there going to be some adjustment? Will there be digital currency coming? Yes, all that's going to come. But there won't be this big, gross, apocalypse collapse. I just don't believe it's going to happen. We've watched Bear Stearns. We've watched the 2008, 9, 10 collapse. We've watched people get bailed out. There'll be a bailout if it happens. So the only caution I would say is your FDIC limits. Whatever your limits are, probably don't have more than that amount per account in a bank, because at least you have some insurance. So that means spread out. I know people who are in 5, 6, 7 banks. I'm in a variety of banks and banks in other countries. So spread your money out so you have a little bit of leverage across your own portfolio. If you want to learn more, go to askloral.com, ask questions, make a request. You got to lean in. You got to learn more. You don't have any fear about money. You'd have a lack of knowledge about money, which is, again, why I need you here on this channel, sharing it with all your friends and be in this conversation. Avoiding a money conversation is ridiculous. You're dealing with money all day long. You go out for lunch, you go out for dinner, you drive your car. I mean, all of that takes money. So you're either unconsciously doing all of this, or you're going to pay attention and do it properly. So how do you get the banks to really be your friend? You need to have personal relationships. So I'm a huge fan of the brick and mortar banks still. I walk into banks. I have 3 specific banks that I walk into. I do wires with them because it's required because of the amount that I'm wiring. Remember, I do a lot of, shark tanking. So my wires are 50 to 250,000 sometimes. You got to walk in. And that's when you build that relationship. You say, really, am I going to pay for checks and a debit card? By the way, why do you use a debit card? You should use credit cards, debit cards. I have them. I put them away. I don't know the last time I've used them or know their PINs. Why? It takes money right out of your bank. Why wouldn't you use a credit card at 0%, pay it off every month, and actually earn points and have some liability protection? Because a credit card company is going to go back and fight a charge for you. The bank, if you just did something and you say, oh, I didn't really want that charge, they're not going to bat for you. So debit card use, I think, is insane. I start kids at credit card use very responsibly at 12 years old. So again, some of you might have just shocked you. But again, if you're serious about learning money and responsible use of money, then you're here. You're on this channel. Use your banks properly. On and offline are great. So that is the message. Do a little bit of both. Have a personal relationship with the bank. And you should have them on speed dial, because they also know where a lot of other wealthy people's money is, and you're in a partnership is how I see our banking relationship. They should bring you business because you're bringing them business. So change the way you bank today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.